As I said, I don't like handling explosives, but I've made it my business to learn how. I knew that the way to disarm this type of torpedo was to wind the propeller in reverse until the detonator was fully withdrawn. I did it. The torpedo was harmless now. The hydro plant was safe. I wasn't. I'd been on the bottom too long today. I'd put out too much energy too fast, and I had a long way to go with the torpedo. A long, long way. It wasn't nerve or willpower that kept me going, just training. Training that my body remembered long, long after my mind blanked out on me. The last thing I thought of, just before the end, was if I came out alive in this job for the Coast Guard, I'd have the Navy to thank. The Navy that had taught me how to handle explosives underwater and get to the top again.
Don't bring it aboard, Mike! Release it!
That's all right, I got it.
All ahead full. Boy.
Well, tell me you're tired.
Well, that was a strain. I was tensed in every muscle while you were down there. I worried about it more than you did.
You want to make a bet? Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.
you want to get away from it all, Key West is the place. That's why Frederick J. Darrow was down here with me. I'm Mike Nelson. Fred is my favorite columnist and one of my oldest friends. He had been locked in a Miami hotel room for months writing a book, and he desperately needed a chance to take it easy for a while. Not too easy, though. You have to keep your eyes open around a coral reef. It can be dangerous. It caught and sank this Army landing craft in 30 minutes. Now it cut right through Fred's suit and gashed his shoulder. Coral happens to be a living organism. You get it under your skin, and you're in trouble till you clean it out. The sooner, the better. But Fred wanted to explore the LCT first, and Frederick J. usually gets what he wants. He did this time, too. Father Neptune had really gone to work in this ship. It was worth looking at. But I should have kept an eye on my buddy instead, because he set out to explore the wreck on his own. That's pretty far out for a diver, lone wolfing it through this kind of a maze. I took out after him fast, angry that he'd broken the #1 rule of diving safety and frightened about the possible consequences. There are just too many places to get caught in a wreck, too many dead ends, and it'd be just like Frederick J. to barge into one of the deadest. He did. I couldn't figure out how he got so fouled up. Panic, maybe. That can get a man into more trouble and keep him there longer than anything else. That's what it looked like. A minor accident made a lot worse by fear. It turned out that I was wrong. Very nearly dead wrong. Maybe Fred Darrow had covered too many wars. I don't know. But dancing with death down there didn't faze him. My one thought was to get him aboard and beat some sense in his head. Because if my favorite columnist kept on diving that way, it wouldn't be long before he stopped writing. Anything but spirit messages, that is.
Welcome aboard, mates. Darling, what happened? Mike, what happened to his shoulder?
Better ask him.
I zigged against some coral when I should have zagged. It's nothing.
If it doesn't get infected. Yeah. Now let me fix it.
Now, believe it or not, dear reader, but the old man can still bind up his own wounds. I don't know how exactly, but I'll manage.
Is that all that happened? Mike?
Huh?
Tell me, Mike.
He, wandered off from me down there.
Wandered off? You mean by himself?
Yeah. Something bugging your husband. You any idea what it is?
No, I don't know. Something is worrying him. Has been for weeks, but he won't tell me. No, sir. Frederick J. binds up his own wounds, inside as well as out. I know you meant well, Mike, but I wish you hadn't asked him out on this junket.
I didn't. He invited himself down. Said he was all tensed up, that he wanted to get away from things for a while.
Including me. No, really, Mike, he didn't want me along on this trip. But I'd gone out of my mind in Miami, knowing the way he was feeling and that he was diving. And...
How's your worry? The next time we go down, I'll stick closer to him than his tank.
Mike, I'd rather he didn't go down again.
You think he's gonna buy that?
Well, it's too early to tell yet, but I think I'm gonna be all right.
You do a good job on it?
Yes, Daddy. And I even put a waterproof bandage on it because I want to go swimming with my old buddy again.
You mean right now?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Fred, why don't we just loaf around here for a while?
Later, dear. After Mike escorts me safely through the reef with nary a scratch.
Yeah, you character. Oh, better check your tank and all your gear.
Aye, aye, sir. You know something, Mike? For a guy who doesn't have deadlines, you sure worry an awful lot.
We were back on the bottom 20 minutes later. I thought Fred was pushing it a little, but maybe this was his way of relaxing. Or maybe some secret worry was dogging him. If so, he managed to muzzle it. He acted like a man with only one interest, finding out as much as he could about the world underwater. He was a darn good actor. I found that out when I lost one of my fins. It never happened before, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time. When I retrieved it, Fred was gone. I finally sighted him, disappearing around the reef. I made it to the same spot as fast as I could. When I got there, he had vanished completely. I bought myself 10 feet of altitude, hoping to spot him faster. Not a trace. He was lost in the reef somewhere, but he might find his way out again any minute. My best bet was to watch and wait. I didn't know then that 100 miles away in Miami, the waiting time had ended for his doctor, John Gregory.
Miss Davis, we're going to have to operate. That's certain now from this report. You got Mr. Darrell to come in this afternoon?
Well, I'm sorry, Doctor. I thought you knew. Mr. Darrell's out of town.
But I told him... Where?
Well, Mrs. Darrell said they were going skin diving with Mr. Nelson. Off Key West, she thought, in his boat.
Can you figure it out? The man gives advice to the country, to the world. It's good advice, based on a careful study of the facts. And when it comes to advising himself, Key West.
Yes, sir.
Call the Coast Guard. Ask him to contact that boat. Tell him to get Mr. Darrell ashore.
Yes, Doctor.
Tell him I'm chartering a plane. I'll be there in about an hour.
But your house calls.
I've got to make him understand what he's up against before he gets out of reach, mine or anyone else's.
I couldn't wait any longer. I had to go into the reef after him. Suddenly, though, Fred found an exit himself and burst out, seemingly panic-stricken, with darn good reason. Believe it or not, he was out of air.
What happened?
I thought I told you to check your tank.
What happened? Did he run out of air?
Yeah, it's empty. We weren't down long enough to use up even half a tank.
Gonna change? Guess I forgot.
Oh, Fred.
Forgot! I told you specifically.
Well, I'm sorry. Won't happen again.
No, it won't. Not with me, anyway. You'll do your goofing off above water from now on.
Oh, Mike, you can't. Give me a break.
I'm going to give us all a break.
WM2050, this is Coast Guard radio. Over. WM2050, this is Coast Guard radio. Over. WM2050, this is Coast Guard radio. Over.
Coast Guard radio, this is WM2050, over.
Message from Lieutenant Tully to Mike Nelson. Stand by.
Lieutenant Tully here, Mike. Say, do you have Frederick J. Darrell aboard?
Yeah, he's aboard. And Mrs. Darrell, too.
This is on Mister. His doctor, John Gregory, is headed for the base. He wants to see Mr. Darrell immediately. Can you bring him in, or shall we send the doctor out to you?
What does he want?
Stand by, Lieutenant.
Please, Mike, could you ask him what it's all about?
What's the scoop, Lieutenant? You any idea why Dr. Gregory wants to see Mr. Darrell?
It was his nurse who called. She didn't say, but she sure put it strong about the doctor wanting Darrell. What do you say, Mike? We send him out?
No, thanks, Lieutenant. We'll come in. Over and out. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
What I came out to do.
Fred!
Fred knew what he was doing when he took off for downstairs. His wife didn't, and neither did I. I had my suspicions, though. Frederick J. Darrell, anchorman of the New York Globe, looked to me like a cub reporter running away from a tough story. It was my job to catch up with him. I didn't know how little he cared about that. There's only one other person in the world that did know. And why?
Lieutenant, this is Dr. Gregory.
Well, pleasure, Doctor. Mission accomplished. They're on their way in.
Oh, thanks, Lieutenant. Soon, I hope.
Well, take another hour or so. They're quite a ways out.
Oh, that's too long.
Well, if it's that urgent,
Yes, I'm afraid it is. You see, he's on the verge of hysteria, and with good reason. It'd be cruel to keep him in suspense for the next few hours. Cruel and dangerous.
I'll send you out to meet him. That'll cut the time in half, okay?
Fine, fine.
Hope you're wrong about that dangerous bit. Mr. Darrell means a lot to all of us.
Fred was gone. I couldn't find him anywhere. I wasn't fast enough on my fins. Fred Darrell was up to his knees in trouble, wedged tight in the coral. I couldn't free him. His air tanks blocked the way. I might be able to get him out, though, from the other side, if I could find a way in through the reef. I picked what looked like a good bet. it wasn't. My second try wasn't even close. Just a pothole. This passageway had to be the right one. Fred Darrell didn't have much time left. He was a prisoner, all right, held tight by the coral. To get him free, I'd have to widen the cell door. That meant going up again first, for tools and fresh tanks. I'd been using up air like a cyclone. I only hoped that when I got back down to him, the job would still be worth doing.
Got stuck in the coral. I gotta get some other tanks.
Well, I'm not surprised. He thinks he's going to die. He wouldn't let me persuade him either way, not Frederick J. When it happens, he's strong. I just got the report from the lab. He's got a tumor, that's all, and it's operable.
Put that down here, will you? Here. Sign your name to it.
The weight of the crowbar helped get me down fast. But what gave me real speed was knowing that Fred Darrell was trying to kill himself. To rescue him, I'd have to do a fast selling job and get him to help me. He was too far gone for a sales talk, or for rescue, maybe. The crowbar wasn't much help. To get him out, I had to cut loose his tanks and leave them behind. From here on out, we'd have to share my air again. The sharing worked fine till we got clear of the reef and started upstairs. Then Fred recovered enough to make trouble. He tried to go through with his original plan. I didn't mean to let him get away with it, even if I had to get to the top myself without air. By the time we surfaced, the reaction had set in. Fred was in a bad way. I wasn't feeling very good myself.
Fred!
Fine thing. Trying to drown yourself, a guy like you.
It's no use. It's all over for me. I'm all through.
Oh, no, you're not. You weren't able to read that message that I brought down to you. It was from your doctor.
Doctor?
Yeah, doctor. Look, right here.
Greg.
You stubborn character. Those last tests of yours were negative.
Do you mean it? Do you really mean it, Greg?
You're gonna have to have an operation, but it's not what you thought. Another month or so, you'll be in fine shape. Just as nasty as ever.
Oh, you poor darling. And all this time you thought you were dying. But why did you do this?
Because I'm a coward.
Oh, Fred.
And I wanted you to think it was an accident. I don't know what to say, Mike. I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, you were certainly bent on doing something.
Yes, but to jeopardize your life, too. I don't know how to say thank you.
Oh, don't try. I did it for my sake as well as yours. I wanted to keep on reading that column of yours every day. Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.